From the Golf Boys Studios, it's the Golf Boys Do Fantasy Football Podcast with your host, Bill Truong. Hello and welcome to the Golf Boys Do Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Bill Truong Productions. I'm your host, Bill Truong. And this week, we are looking at the Fantasy Finals preview. This podcast wouldn't be possible without our generous sponsors, the Talk the Plank podcast. You can find Talk the Plank on Instagram at talk.the.plank. What a week we just had in the Golf Boys Do Fantasy Football Fantasy League. We had the playoff semifinals this week, as well as the 5th and 6th place games, and the Sacco Safe and the 7th, 8th place games as well. What a crazy day of action. Quickly, we'll dive into these results. Starting off with the one of the more uneventful games, the 5th and 6th place games between Golden Fruit Loops and Alex Hall. Golden Fruit Loops comes out the winner by about 25 points. Pretty uneventful game. Alex Hall had some pieces missing. He was never really projected to compete in that game, and the results basically kind of went the way of the projections. Pretty close in terms of the projections to actual final score. Not much really to say about that one other than, kind of expected going into that matchup. The 7th, 8th place game also was projected to be a close one. Ended up not really being a close one between Matty Ice and Nerd Bill, or the San Jose Barracks. Matty Ice, his team really kind of pulled out all the stops. Outscored his projections by about 17 points, 135-80. Not really a close game in the end, but both teams pretty relieved not to be in the last place discussion. Now, onto the Toilet Bowl, the Sacco Safe Bowl, basically. We had Drew versus Jacob, and that game really was never that close. It was projected to be kind of a 20-point win, and it was a little more than that. It was about 107 points. It was a pretty big margin. Drew putting up the second most points ever scored in the league, en route to not getting last place in the league. So shout out to Drew. Congrats to all of our teams that really competed this weekend. Hopefully we'll see them back next year. Better and ready for a new season. So let's get into the meat of the podcast this week. We're going to be talking about the two semifinals that just happened. So Team Arthur versus Team Alec, and then also Team Thomas versus Team Alvin. So let's jump into it, shall we? We'll start off with the first seed, Alvin Choi versus the 5th seed, Thomas Wheaton. 0 RB1s versus Herbs with Herbie. That match ended up going the way of Herbs with Herbie with 141.3 to 126.32. The big standouts for Herbs with Herbie, Justin Fields with 25 points. Jahmyr Gibbs with 22. Puka Nacua absolutely popping off on the Thursday night games. 28.5 points for him. Mike Evans also having a really good day with it, with basically 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. Honestly, a lot of things went right for Mr. Herbs with Herbie there. For Alvin Choi though, not too many things to be really happy about. Alvin Kamara, absolutely underwhelming with his projections by about 7 points. Also having Sam Laporta, who has been really the kind of one of the guys who has been carrying him to this point. He was number one in the projection in the league for a reason, and strong tight end play was a part of that. Unfortunately, Sam Laporta did lay kind of a goose egg. Not actually a goose egg, but unfortunately for him, didn't score very well and kind of led to the downfall of his team. Next up, we got a recap of the other matchup, the other semifinal between Yakunta, Arthur Wilkie, and Alec Gonzalez. So Team Dave Hester versus Team Felony Fellas. Now, this game was projected to be a Dave Hester win for the side of Arthur Wilkie. It was projected to be about a 3-point win. Unfortunately for him, his team did come up short, and Team Felony Fellas did eke out the win, as he has done so many times this season. The game ended up being 139.48 to 110.54. Arthur underwhelming in his projections by about 17 points, whereas Alec overachieved by about 15 points, and that was really the difference today. Some highlights from both teams. CD Lamb for the Felony Fellas, going off for about 118 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson absolutely shredding the 49ers defense, on his way to a 252 passing yard night. Saquon Barkley having a really good game with 80 yards and a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion as well. George Kittle having 126 yards, which was huge for the Felony Fellas. On the side of Arthur Wilkie, T. Higgins with another monster game, 140 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts with his 301 yards 301 yards passing, as well as 34 yards on the ground and a tush-push touchdown. But other than that, not too many great points for Arthur's team, as his team did underwhelm in the loss. So that means this week, we've only really got 2 fantasy matchups this week. Basically, the first place game and the third place game. Let's touch on the third place game first. We've got 0 RB1s, Alvin Choi versus Dave Hester, and managed by Arthur Wilkie. That matchup is looking really tasty so far. Both teams are averaged to be around the same in terms of points projections, 124.96 for 0 RB1s to 123.65 for Team Dave Hester. This one, you couldn't really decide against. You couldn't really pick. It's a kind of a coin flip in that form. Obviously, Alvin Cheesy Choi, Mr. 0 RB1s, has kind of had the better team throughout the whole league, and he's got the best. He's got some really good pieces on his team, but he's got some questions at quarterback. Looks like right now he's got Derek Carr in, who he's really, really trusting with that Derek Carr and Chris Olave stack. So we have no idea how that matchup is going to go. It could go either way. Over on the flip side, we've got the championship match between Herbs with Herbie and Thomas and the Felony Fellas with Alec. Now, Alec is actually coming into this match as a 10-point favorite, 127.76 to 117.16 points. Both managers have had around the average for fantasy points, about the same average for the last couple games, and both their teams look pretty good. Alex obviously got the sleeper projection, but really his team and anybody on that team could pop off at any time. So it's going to be a really, really close game. It really depends on the flex play for me. The flexes right now, Aaron Jones and Devin Singletary for the Felony Fellas, and Tony Pollard and Mike Evans for the Herbs with Herbie. Basically, whichever team gets more projection from their guys on the flex, basically those 2 extra roster spots, I think will really have a good edge going into the later matchups. So now we actually have some audio from all of the managers. Let's start with the 2 managers in the third place game, Arthur and Alvin. Arthur actually didn't really give me any audio. He told me the pull from the Brock Purdy interview, which I actually watched after they lost to the Ravens, and I felt like this quote really encapsulates. Well, Arthur told me to pull from that one, and I feel like this quote encapsulates the performance of his team last week quite well. Take a listen.
For me, it's like, I got to ask myself, all right, like, who are you? What do you stand for? Who are you when things are good? Who are you when things don't go your way? It's easy to, be riding the high and thinking you're the man when things are going well, winning games and all that kind of stuff, and you don't really see, a whole lot of adversity in some games and whatnot. And, this is the reality of the NFL. And so, for myself, I obviously have to look myself in the mirror, watch the plays where I need to get better, make some cleaner decisions, help my team, put up points and score and protect the ball. And when things don't go my way, it's, understanding, I can't be acting out. I have to be real with myself and be better. But I want to be the same guy every day, be consistent in what I do and how I do things, whether things are going well or not. I know who I am, and I'm not going to waver in that. So I've said that before, and I'll continue to hang my hat on that.
Next up, I got to sit down with the manager of Zero RB1s, Alvin Choi, and we got to speak about his matchup last week and his thoughts going into this week's matchup. Take a listen. There's some really good sound bites in there, trust me. Hello, we're here back again with Alvin, team owner of Zero RB1s. Thank you, Alvin, for taking the time to speak with me today.
Of course, Bill. How you doing?
Good. So I just wanted to ask you about your matchup last week against Thomas. You ended up losing a close one, 15 points in it. Just wanted to hear your thoughts about the matchup.
Well, 15 points. I don't know if it's close per se, but it definitely provided some anticipation for Monday Night Football. I have so many thoughts about this week that, truthfully, I don't know where to start, Bill. Like, do you want me to just go through like my thoughts throughout the whole week, or just high level, like what I thought about it?
You can go through everything.
All right. Well, can we start with the beautiful matchup to just kick off the week with fucking the Los Angeles Rams versus the New Orleans Saints game on Thursday?
Yes. So in that game, the only person that was playing in that game, to provide context to our viewers, was I think Puka Nacua. And Alvin, what did Puka Nacua go for?
Not only that, I had two players on the Saints on the other side of the ball.
Oh, you did. Oh, you had Olave and you had Kamara. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I got Puka'd so hard, Bill. Like, he Puka'd all over my face, man. He got breakfast with Matt Stafford that morning, and they drank coffee, and they were scheming up ways to just completely demolish Alvin Choi's fantasy hopes and dreams. And Puka went out and he caught 9 balls on 11 targets for 164 yards and a touchdown. And probably should have had another one. He was wide open and Stafford just missed him.
Also had 16 rushing yards, by the way.
Yeah. Awesome. Love that. Thank you, Puka and Sean McVay, for just fucking me in the ass right off the bat. Every time Matt Stafford would drop back, my heart just sunk because his eyes looked no further than number 17, Puka Nacua, just tearing up the battered Saints secondary, just holes everywhere, and he found them, and he was wide open. And he made some incredible catches, too. It just, every single reception just drove the dagger into my heart deeper and deeper. Okay, and not only that, all right? I'm sorry, I'm just going to fucking rant. Not only did Puka have an amazing game, like, he's a great player, he's going to be something special in the years to come, give him his flowers. The worst part is on the other side for my boys, where Chris Olave, he did his fucking job, okay,
Yeah, Chris
but
Olave did his job. 9 of 13 for 123 at 2 point.
yes,
He did good for you.
I couldn't have asked for more from Olave. Like, obviously, it would have been nice to
A touchdown would have been
have a
nice.
touchdown, but yeah, like he had a great game. the The worst part is Alvin Kamara, my boy, my dog,
Dang.
he who I share the same first name with.
Yeah, Alvin let you down.
Alvin let me down so hard, harder than opening up presents on Christmas Eve and getting coal in your stocking. Like, this is on paper a Los Angeles Rams team that, sure, in recent weeks has been shutting down the running backs, but they've been playing shit teams and shit running backs. Alvin Kamara was projected to absolutely feast on this team, not only on the ground, but from a receptions perspective as well. And he did not. 9 carries, 19 yards rushing, 5 out of 6 targets, and 16 yards receiving. What the fuck?
You
This
know,
is your whole game.
what saved
Derek
you was the
Carr,
5 catches.
yes, and all of that came within like one drive because it was garbage time. I was sitting on the sofa watching this game, just clawing my eyes out and begging whoever the fuck is the offensive coordinator of the Saints to get their shit together. This is pee wee football. This is the most smooth brain offensive scheming I've ever seen with elite weapons that he has to utilize. Uh, Derek Carr, oh my god, Derek Carr is permanently on my shit list. Every time I watch him, and I have to watch him because I have so much fantasy stake invested in the Saints. I want to fucking video game myself. I don't know how Thomas managed to watch this man be the starting quarterback for his Oakland slash Las Vegas Raiders for so long, because just watching a couple of games made me want to stub my toes against the wall. It was atrocious.
Well,
6 points from Kamara.
yeah,
6.
not pretty. I guess the other kind of moot point from your team's standpoint was at the tight end position, Sam Laporta.
Oh, oh, Sam. Oh, Sam. Sam, my waiver wire darling. Sam, my number one fantasy tight end for the year. Sam, the best rookie tight end from a fantasy perspective I've seen in my life. He caught 3 touchdowns last week. Just fucking destroyed. Okay, this is a man playing football amongst children. And he comes out against, albeit not the best matchup. The Vikings have a solid defense, especially against tight end. But to only catch three balls for 18 yards, no tutties, it was, oh my god, it was all Gibbs, man. It was all Gibbs, and it hurt me.
Jared Goff went for 30 for 40, 30 completions for 257 yards. By the way, only 3 went to Laporta, and they only went for 18. It was a tough game to watch for any Laporta owner. You had Jahmyr Gibbs, who Thomas had, unfortunately. Um, you can blame me for that one because I traded him. At least you didn't have to go against Kyron.
No, yeah, exactly. No, it's, look, Gibbs, he's him. Okay, he's like Bijan, but with a competent offensive line. Like, he makes magic happen when he touches the ball. So, I baked in a great game from Jahmyr Gibbs already, but and Monty, he did his thing. I'm not gonna be upset about
A
his
touchdown.
17 carries. He got a touchdown and caught 2 balls as well, which is cool. But like, I'm
Somehow.
not gonna get upset about him. The Sam Laporta one, it just hurts, man. He was my dog. He's him. I was advocating for him so hard. There were so many haters in the league doubting Laporta, saying he's not him. There are better options for tight end. Please, like, I want to trade you like other tight ends to replace him. I advocated for him and he let me down in the semifinals. I'm still reeling from the betrayal.
The other two betrayals for you were the kicker, but that's not his,
Oh
not his fault.
my.
His team sucks. But
Well, he missed
missed.
like a chip and field goal
He
apparently.
did miss a chip and field. Missed like a
Dude,
He did miss a pretty bad field.
Harrison Butker. Oh my fucking god. He's one of those guys where I mean, I'm just looking at like his results for the season, and prior to the bye, he was doing fine. You know, like his performance, like pretty middle of the road, not going to kill you. Occasionally having a good game, but since then, it's been dog shit after dog shit. Mahomes, Kelsey, Rasheed Rice, Kadarius Toney, every single Chief offensive asset is laying out fucking stinkers. They can't keep a drive alive. They don't have receivers to catch balls for them. Pacheco goes out in injury, so they don't have a running game. Mahomes is throwing picks because he's Josh Allening it. He feels like he has to put the team on his shoulders. He's yelling at his offensive line, "Bitch, it's everyone's fault. It's not just the old line, bro. You don't have receivers that can catch the ball, sustain drives, get within field goal range, and give Butker a chance. Bro, 1 point. One motherfucking point. I have had it with Harrison Butker, man. If my whole entire special teams unit, Butker, oh my god, don't even get me fucking started on the Green Bay Packers defense. Oh my god. Bill,
Yeah, they had a layup this week. The Green Bay Packers played the Panthers, who suck, by the way.
The Panthers.
They let 30 points to the Panthers.
Look at their rest of season schedule. Okay. Since week 14, the Giants, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Minnesota, these are fucking amazing matchups for a defense to close the year. And they've done nothing but disappoint time and time again. I don't know what it needs to be. If it starts with a conditioning and getting the defense right, if it means getting a new defensive coordinator, if it means getting Rashawn Gary back, I don't know. Get this defense right. You let Bryce Young cook you and have a chance to drive down the field and kick a game-winning field goal. Thank the fucking Lord they didn't, because I swear to God, the Green Bay Packers are fucking frauds. Every single one of them.
Yeah, can't deny that.
I'm getting so mad again, Bill. You're making me relive my trauma right now. This is cruel.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, let's move past this. Let's move past this travesty of a matchup.
Wait,
And
look, sorry. Before we do that, can I just shout out one guy?
Yes,
on my
go ahead.
team? Joseph motherfucking Flacco is him, bro. My quarterback situation was so fucked coming into this. Like,
I mean, you had three quarterbacks who dropped 20 points.
Yeah, yes.
He had Russ, who actually cooked Loki, even though they lost to New England, which was really embarrassing.
He absolutely did. I like looking back at it, I had three quarterbacks that did amazing, but coming into the week, nothing looked great. Kyler Murray had a great matchup against the Bears, but he's been playing so bad in recent weeks. Russell Wilson is putting up fine, like above the water performances, but he's facing a New England defense that, Bill Belichick has strapped down. I had to resort to starting Joe Flacco against the Houston Texans, just on a prayer that he would go out and show that he is a Hall of Fame quarterback talent. And by God, he did. I salute you, Joe Flacco.
Well said. Well said. Unfortunately, because you did lose, you will be playing in the third place bracket this week. You will be facing another person who lost, maybe to an underwhelming performance, Mr. Yakanta, Arthur. What are your thoughts on that matchup, and what are you looking forward? What's got to go right for your team to pull out this W?
Truthfully, I had to put the phone down. I had to put fantasy away, I didn't have the mental stability to be able to handle it. So I haven't dove deep into the matchup with Arthur, but I will say Jalen Hurts against the Cardinals is going to be extremely scary. Like, yes, I have Devonta Smith, so it's nice that, I will be gaining some points from Jalen Hurts through the form of his wide receiver, too. But that stack that he has with AJ Brown and Hurts on a run first team as well, with a defense that can't stop a nosebleed, that's going to be terrifying. I'm going to be sweating bullets for third place.
Yeah, it's gonna be a quite a tough match. Got a couple of big hitters. Got T Higgins who's trying to cook again.
Mm-hmm.
And Hurts obviously. Got Jonathan Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
Ingram can cook on his
Having a great
having
season.
a great season. Got Moore, who has cooked before, didn't cook last week versus the Cards, but is a good player. Got a couple pieces on his bench. Gus Edwards, Achan, Terry. So he's
Mm-hmm.
got some pieces on there that can definitely scare. What are you looking forward to? What's the X factor on his team? Looking to looking to hopefully not have a good day.
Look, it first and foremost, it starts with his Hurts AJ Brown stack. Um, T Higgins does this. He's put up back to back 20 plus point performances, and with Jamar Chase potentially sidelined for this matchup, he's in a prime position to cook. Um, he's got studs on his team. He's got a stacked team. JT coming back as well. That's scary. He's good for a touchdown, especially against the Raiders. Um, every single one of his options, they look like they're in a position to pounce on me. I will say though, on my side, I think there might be some light at the end of this tunnel. Um, Once again, I don't know who's going to be starting at quarterback for me, but I I gotta continue to God, I gotta continue to put faith in Derek Carr because I have no motherfucking choice. So I really hope he can actually give catchable passes to Kamara for material gains. Olave, please continue to do your thing, but ultimately my advantage comes at the tight end position. Sam Laporta, please wake up. This is your moment to shine. You're going to be going up against the Dallas Cowboys. It's most likely a primetime game. Go out, show the nation who the fuck you are, put some respect on the name, and and put a stamp in fantasy history.
Said. All right. Well, that's unfortunately all the time we have for today. Thank you, Alvin, for taking the time to speak with us today. Best of
Yeah,
luck. The fantasy football playoffs.
thanks, Bill. I'll invoice you my bill for therapy. And
You should invoice Thomas. Actually,
look, Thomas, respectfully, I was talking my shit. He came out, he kicked my ass. So I don't want him to win back to back titles, but if he does, he's deserving of it. So respect to him. I blame you, Bill. You are making me relive my trauma, making me speak to it live. This one's on you, buddy.
I know. All right. Thanks.
All right, bye.
I'd like to thank Alvin again for coming on the pod and recapping his week last week. He didn't have to relive the trauma that was his fantasy football matchup last week, but he did it anyways. So shout out to him. We wish him the best of luck this week. And yeah, so next up, we've got some sound bites from our defending champion, actually, Thomas Wheaton, the manager of Herbs with Herbie. Let's take a listen to see what he said about his upcoming matchup with Team Felony Fellas.
All right, some thoughts about the fantasy playoffs. Um, I guess first, just wanted to give a shout out to all the playoff teams and give a quick glance down to the lower bracket where Jacob unfortunately took the L to Drew and is our Sacco. But big ups to Matt for winning the lower bracket title. Big shout out. But more importantly, the playoff matchups. Alvin, I guess congrats on a fun few weeks as being the title hopeful. Everybody was saying how it was yours to lose. But I guess, people overlook that I am the defending champion, and I don't know a world where I haven't made the finals in this league. So I hope you're taking notes. But no, I wouldn't be being honest if Christian McCaffrey didn't scare me shitless. But I was thankful for that negative game script for the Niners. Shout out Ravens for that. And having to force the ball to Ayuk. And so, yeah, I think that was kind of the pivotal piece of the matchup. I also feel very vindicated that Jahmyr Gibbs won that battle over David Montgomery when it mattered most. So shout out to them and my boy Puka, waiver wire addition of the year by far, for holding it down because goddamn the Dallas defense sure as shit wanted me to lose. Justin Tucker back in the lineup though for sure. But yeah, looking forward onto Alec. This is an interesting matchup for sure. Actually, the other league that I made the championship, I made playoffs in 5 leagues and made finalists in 2 of the 5. And in the other league, I have the Lamar Saquon stack. So I'm kind of hedged there. So I'm kind of rooting for those guys to pop off and the rest of the lineup to not do much. But I think it'll be a good matchup. I'm praying on that, that Raiders pickup today. I'm praying on them to get another touchdown or 2 because that's what they've been doing. Hoping for some Gardner Minshew interceptions. And I'm really just kind of hoping that Baltimore's defense is able to keep those Dolphins playmakers in check. I think that's going to be a big thing to watch in that matchup as well. So, yeah, I think that it's been a great playoffs. Been treated to some good football as well in the process, which is always more important. So, good luck, Alec. Best of luck. Looks like you're up. You seem to be a fan of sleeper projections, so I'm 55-45. I'd be down to take those odds if you wanted to do a side bet. But yeah, best of luck, everybody. Alvin and Arthur. Actually, let's check in on that matchup real quick. I think Dave Hester, man, that's a squad. I'm seeing a big bounce back for Cooper Kupp. I've seen some tush pushes against Arizona. And really, Derek Carr, that's who you're – Derek Carr? Alvin. Come on, bro. You're just asking for it. All right. That'll do it for me. Peace, boys.
Thanks again to Thomas for taking the time to give us some quotes for his upcoming matchup with the Felony Fellas, Alec Gonzalez. Now, actually, we're going to hear from Alec Gonzalez right now. Got to sit down with him on Tuesday to discuss his matchup with the Herbs with Herbie. Go ahead and take a listen to this. Hello, I'm here with Alec, manager of the Felony Fellas. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Of course, I'm thrilled. Very thrilled to be here.
Let me first get your initial thoughts on making it to the championship game.
It's an honor. It's a big honor. I, newcomer to the league, setting a big, precedence for my future in the league. I expect to be back many times in the future, and it's great to get there on the first attempt.
All right, now let's get into the nitty gritty of your matchup. You're going up against T.J. Wheaton, Thomas Wheaton. Mm-hmm. He's been in the finals for 2 years now. What are your thoughts on your opponent initially?
Of the 4 people in the semifinals, I think I'm most comfortable with T.J. Wheaton, with Thomas. I'm sorry to say that. That might be a little rude, but I did not want to play Alvin. That's for sure. So I was happy that he knocked out Alvin, and I thought last week Yak Hunter had the strongest team. So this is kind of a dream come true. I could still obviously get smoked, but I think it's my optimal situation. It's my optimal win condition.
What parts of this matchup upcoming with TJ Wheaton makes this so optimal for you?
Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields might do well against Atlanta. I'm just looking at this lineup here. It's a pretty good lineup. I mean, I feel like James Cook is a little streaky at times. Mike Evans is a little scary, not gonna lie. I'm hoping Ayuk comes off of the loss and just does a shit job. I mean, no offense to my 49ers fans, not that I'm one of them, but I'm hoping the Niners just choke next week with Purdy throwing 4 interceptions. That said, Puka, I'm a little scared of Puka. I think the Rams are kind of rolling right now. They look pretty good. So I'm a little concerned about that. But, I mean, Tony Pollard's been playing pretty shit. He's got a lot of Cowboys here. I mean, he's got Pollard, Aubrey, and their defense. Ooh, it just depends on their matchup. I mean, who are they playing next week?
They're playing the Lions, so
yeah, that's gonna be a tough matchup for them. So, yeah, I mean, I'm feeling decent. I mean, I think I also have some tough matchups next week, but I think his might be a little tougher. On my end, I'm really happy that Mostert's kind of reclaimed the RB1 spot. It feels like, obviously Tyreek and CD are just two of the best. So I'm feeling pretty good. My one concern on my end is Singletary versus Collins. I don't know who I want to pick. If Stroud comes back, I'm tempted to pick Collins, but he's going to be coming. It's going to be his first game back, right? So I'm a little iffy on whether or not I want to start him or Singletary. But besides that, I mean, my team's pretty locked in. No injuries. I've been super lucky with injuries. So, that's that. I have one upgrade I'm looking to make with the waiver. I'm throwing all my money at one person, and then I'm gonna run with it. Go from there.
Who's that person? This is gonna come out after the.
Okay. I'm throwing 7 fab at Matt Gay.
Ready. So next question for you:
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your team's got to do to pull out this W this week?
Okay, well, if Lamar chokes, I'm fucked. I'm just totally fucked. I need Lamar to do well. I'm really happy with how he did against the Niners. He hasn't been running as much, it feels like. I think he ran for 40-something yards.
He ran for 30. Game. He ran for 46. I know this because yards. I had the over on Sleeper the other day, but it is what it is. Anyways.
Yeah, he did not run for that many yards. I think a big appeal of Lamar is how much he gets on the run game. Obviously, he still threw a couple touchdowns and for a bunch of yards. So, I mean, it ended up working out. But, if I want an explosive Lamar week, I need some rushing. I would love a touchdown. So that's definitely one of my win conditions is a good Lamar day. I think I've got a lot in the scoring department from my other players. Another question mark is probably going to be Kittle, Jones, and Singletary. Those three I feel like are a little, they can be streaky, especially Kittle. So I think another kind of win condition for me would be Kittle, to be honest. But besides that, I feel pretty good about everybody else that I have on my team. I like my running backs. I like my wide receivers. I think the running backs could be a little iffy from time to time, but I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay next week. But yeah, besides that, I mean, just stay healthy, no injuries. That would fucking suck if somebody went out in the finals. I know some bullshit happened last year with the Bills game, so I'm hoping to avoid that.
Not firsthand. No, not first.
That's a tough way to go out, but yeah, I mean, I think no injuries and a couple good performances from Lamar and Kittle and my flex, I think I should be good.
Sounds good. All right. Last question is, do you have any words for your opponent this week? Any sort of smack talk or any sort of words of fighting words, I guess?
Did he win last year?
He did win last year.
Okay,
he won because the game didn't finish, so none of the scores. got registered, he did win. I mean, I don't think I was gonna win anyways because he's playing me. I don't think I wasn't gonna win. So.
Well, I mean, nobody wants to see him win 2 years in a row. I mean, come on, let's get some diversity. Let's spread the love. I mean, I'm kind of like a rookie at this point, you know, first year in the league, second year playing fantasy in my sophomore year. Like, I feel like it would just be a better story. It would be like a Mr. Irrelevant story, you know. So, you know, to all the viewers, fuck TJ Wheaton, you know. Let's go, felony fellas.
Sounds good. All right. Well, that's all we have. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Alec, for coming on. And good luck in the playoffs.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless everyone.
Once again, thank you to Alec for taking the time to sit down and talk to me about this upcoming matchup. Well, unfortunately, to everyone, that's all the time we've got today for the podcast. I'd like to thank again to Talk the Plank for being one of our presenting sponsors, and for the Golf Boys Do Fantasy Football podcast presented by Bill Truong Productions. I'm your host, Bill Truong. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.